Trojan War, one of the most well-known tales of Western culture. It is arguably the biggest conflict in Asian mythology. Two kingdoms engaged in battle during the Bronze Age. Ever since its occurrence, the conflict has captured people's attention for centuries. Today, there isn't a single authorized text that covers every aspect of the war's occurrences. Rather, a story can be pieced together from various sources, some of which give conflicting accounts of the same events. But to make sense of all these, we have to travel back to history, where it all began, and dig out the origin story. Over the years, the Trojan War has been the source of inspiration for Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, two of the earliest pieces of poetry ever written. In fact, the war's events have been referenced in Greek literary works and portrayed in a number of Greek artistic creations. Odysseus, who endures 10 more years attempting to return home, takes place after the Iliad, which is set in the 10th year of the battle. Each of these legends is a tale of men and opens with a plea to recount the hero's tale. All other things we anticipate hearing in this poem, such as the conflict between mortals and immortals, ultimately boil down to one guy and his wrath. In the long run, the bloody Trojan War that led to death, destruction, and annihilation can be traced to one single event, a beauty pageantry. Nowadays, people are accustomed to hearing claims about beauty queens being unqueenly, but they have never heard of a beauty contest in modern times sparking a war. However, a similar situation is described in classical Greek mythology. The prophecy of Olympian rule and a divine love affair was a trigger that ignited the Trojan War. Centuries prior, Zeus and Poseidon were both deeply enamored with the sea goddess Thetis. However, upon hearing of the consequences of their actions, they both decided against claiming her as their bride. Legend states that if Thetis, the sea goddess, had a child with Zeus or one of his brothers, she would bear a son with regal powers, who would be mightier than his father and wield a weapon greater than the trident or the thunderbolt. Zeus, who had overthrown his father Kronos to become the ruler of the gods, was unfaithful to his sister and wife Hera. With numerous affairs under his belt, he fathered countless children. Seeing humanity as overpopulating the planet, Zeus believed that the Trojan War might serve to reduce the population, particularly his demigod offsprings. Yet he would come to realize that one day, he too would be toppled, much like his father before him, by either Prometheus or Themis. Thus emerged the prophecy that Thetis' son would surpass his father in strength and power. Zeus commanded Thetis to marry Peleus, a human king. Upon the revelation of Thetis' husband, Zeus threw a lavish feast to celebrate their union, marking the start of the Trojan War. At the very wedding, Athena, Aphrodite, and Hera engaged in a beauty contest, with the three goddesses seeking a fair judge to determine who was the fairest of them all. Paris, known for his intelligence and coincidentally the son of the king of Troy, became the subject of their dispute. A golden apple, or most likely a pomegranate, or some more typical Mediterranean fruit, was the prize for having the most attractive appearance. However, the goddesses all made the decision to cheat. They all offered different bribes to Paris. When it came to fighting for the desired title, Athena provided exceptional knowledge almost equal to her own, and talent. Above all of mankind, Hera provided great leadership and filled his head with thrones. However, by promising the love of the most beautiful woman on earth, Aphrodite secured victory. Paris accepted Aphrodite's offer and proclaimed her to be the most attractive deity. Sadly, Aphrodite's plan ran across a small snag. At that time, Helen, the most beautiful woman on earth, was already wed to Menelaus. Although there was conflicting accounts of how Helen was stolen by Paris, everyone who sought Helen before her marriage vowed to protect her honor and their relationships in the event that anyone might try to steal Helen after her wedding. But the judgment of Paris and the subsequent acts to kidnap Helen and bring her to Troy are largely responsible for the beginning of the Trojan War. An interesting point of note is that the golden apple that served as the prize for the competition was said to have been created by the goddess Eris, the goddess of discord. Eris, who was angry at not being invited to the feast hosted by Zeus, crafted the apple to prompt the goddesses to compete and create chaos. Hence, the golden apple became known as the apple of discord. Menelaus, the king of Sparta, was married to Helen, and under the pretense of a diplomatic expedition, Paris traveled to Sparta in order to kidnap Helen and return her to Troy. This is the point when Eros hits Helen with an arrow before she sees Paris and immediately falls in love after seeing him. The goddesses' rivalry is still present in Homer's Iliad, a fragmentary account of the Trojan War. Hera and Athena frequently supported the Athenians throughout the Trojan War, which ultimately allowed Troy to be completely destroyed, down to the last man, woman, and child. Clearly, Aphrodite supported the Trojans in the Trojan War. She makes an attempt to intervene and safeguard the life of one of her favorites in a remarkable passage from Homer, and Zeus in turn mocks her when she is hurt and implies that love and conflict should never coexist. According to ancient literature, after Paris the Trojan prince kidnapped Helen, the queen of Sparta, Menelaus, Helen's abandoned husband, convinced his brother Agamemnon to undertake an expedition to find her. Along with a fleet of more than 1,000 ships from all around the Hellenic realm, Agamemnon was joined by other Greek heroes like Ajax, Nestor, Odysseus, and Achilles. To wage war against Troy, this army sailed the Aegean Sea to Asia Minor. The long siege, which lasted more than 10 years, was interspersed with clashes and conflicts during which Hector and Achilles perished. It came to an end when the Greek forces departed the camp, sitting behind a large wooden horse in front of Troy's gates. The Trojans brought the wooden horse into their city with some persuasion from a man called Sinon. Odysseus created a wooden horse in an effort to put an end to the battle once and for all. He requested that the wooden horse have a hollow belly so that warriors might conceal inside of it as it was being ridden up to Troy's city gate. The Trojans were lured into a false sense of security by Sinon, a cunning double agent left behind as the Greeks retreated to the nearby island of Tenedos. He convinced the Trojans that the Greeks had ended their siege and that the Trojan horse was a gift of wealth. As night fell, the troops hidden within the horse emerged, launching an attack on Troy from within its own walls. The 10-year conflict reached a fiery conclusion, with the Greeks emerging victorious. The Trojans' fatal mistake of bringing the horse inside their city's walls proved to be their undoing. As the Achaean forces launched an all-out assault and mercilessly sacked the once great city of Troy, the Trojan king Priam saw his bloodline eradicated, and his beloved grandson Astyanax, son of Hector, was cast from the burning walls to a bitter end. However, the victory was bittersweet for the Greek warriors, as many of them incurred the wrath of the gods through their arrogance and perished. One such hero was Odysseus, who fought in the Trojan War but took an additional 10 years to return home after incurring the anger of Poseidon. His journey home was a tale of woe, as he was the last warrior to make it back after the fall of Troy. Do you think the war made the ancient Greek religion more unified? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you click the like and subscribe button. Most importantly, click the bell icon to be notified when a new video is uploaded. Also, feel free to leave a remark if you have any recommendations for videos. Have a great day.